Hey everybody, I am so excited to bring this blog post to you. Today I am with one of my very all-time favorite healers along my journey, my therapist. I really recommend therapy to everybody. Emotional support is the most important thing when going through any kind of illness, disease, or trauma. Robin Queen Finkelstein, we're here at her space, Sunraven. I want to just let everyone know how I came to find this space, and I am so honored that I get to have a little piece of heaven on earth near New York City and Connecticut, in Bedford, New York, here at Sunraven. So my girlfriend, one of my best friends in the whole world, Paisley's in the video today too. One of my best friends in the whole world was searching for drumming circles, and I know that a lot of you have seen my posts about me participating in drumming circles, African drumming circles, in a teepee, and this is the space where I do that. And one of my best friends, Sheila, she said, come on, we're going to drumming. And this was over a year ago, a year in like 3 months. It was February of 2019, right after I had been diagnosed. And I came to drumming, and Matthew, who facilitates the drumming, had told me, you know, the owner of the space does really deep therapy work. And at that moment, I just knew that I needed to meet you. And we've been basically connected ever since. You've been really supporting me in so many ways during my journey, and I just have to thank you for that. Thank you for opening your home to my audience today and letting them know a little bit more about you, how they can find you, and the kind of work that we do. I discovered that I had some emotional baggage that I had not, or still am trying to let go of. And, you know, we're all programmed as children to kind of figure things out. And when we're born, we're like these little babies who are super innocent. And then we kind of get thrown into life of other people's expectations, ideas of life, other people's emotions and feelings, the adults who are in our life, who are our caregivers, who are supposed to raise us the best that they can, and they do the best job that they possibly can. But sometimes that leaves a little residue on us as adults. And I believe that we all need to do this work deeply, because when we harbor different kinds of emotions, what happens is it manifests in illness and disease, and it really does. And, you know, breast cancer is a matter of the heart. And it's really something, like, for me, my issues, I just want to be very candid, my issues have been abandonment. I didn't know my biological father growing up. I found him, and I've been developing a relationship with him, which has been amazing, but I've had to process the emotions. That's a peacock. Stanley! We have a peacock here on the grounds. And you know, I come from a very Italian family. The mentality is very strict. There was a lot of rules in my house growing up. I was the oldest in my home where I grew up, so there was a lot of pressure on me to, you know, be the strong one, be the person who does things correctly. And, you know, then I went to school and I was labeled as the social butterfly, and I was labeled as someone who was seeking attention all the time, who needed validation. So these are all things that kind of stuck with me, and these are things that we work on together. I also have, you know, some emotional stuff with my family, because my family and I have not been able to see eye to eye on the healing and the holistic healing, and, you know, we haven't been able to be very open and have like really connected conversations about that, and that has put a lot of pressure on me, and I feel like my healing has slowed down because I want things to be a certain way. Of course, I want my family and everyone that loves me to believe in me and believe in my methods, but that has not been the case. So we've been working through that too. So I guess I want to know, Robin, would you please let everyone know how your journey to therapy got started? kind of what kind of people you work with. What is the mission and the idea behind Sunraven and Slow Medicine, and kind of let everybody know.
Yes.
And let me know. Remind me.
Absolutely. First, may I nurture you and pour you some tea?
I would love to. Can you talk a little bit about this tea?
Sure. This we are sitting in our Sunraven herbal garden, and we have this space that we can share with our clients.
I love it.
Weather conducive. So this is so exciting. This is some fresh mint and lemon balm.
Awesome.
Which is growing right in front of us and behind us.
Mint and lemon balm from the garden.
That is right. Right here we have a little bouquet. So,
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to all of you.
Yes, you're so beautiful.
Thank you.
Your healing process has just been an incredible unfolding.
Thank you.
And so here we created a space. Let me say I dreamed up a space that I felt would be conducive for healing.
Yes.
And so our work here is a slow medicine approach, and I took the name of the slow medicine therapist, which is really got some history behind it. So back to my younger years, and my little girl always felt that life was moving so fast.
Right.
Similarly to you, and for a lot of us, it's just the time we were born, everything, our culture, what was going on in the, out in the outer world affects us internally, inside.
Absolutely.
Right?
And right now, like we're recording this right now, right in the middle of quarantine and viruses and fear. So to come to a space like this and have support like you provide here at Slow Medicine is really, really beneficial right now. And really teaching people that nourishing their body and working slowly through life. And I really do feel like this whole thing kind of slowed us all down.
Yes,
which is kind of a blessing.
It's a very interesting concept that Mother Earth actually knows biologically with nature. Things need to die, and things need to be rebirthed.
Yes.
So we are rebirthing from this slowing of this COVID pandemic, and part of what we have created here at Sunraven, Slow Medicine at Sunraven, is the concept of being in the practice of being present.
Yes.
Like just the two of us sitting here having a cup of tea, feeling the energy of Mother Earth and the herbs and just the energy of all the elements.
Is blue.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And this our bodies love, and it regenerates our cells.
Yeah, it's very grounding.
Yeah. So that was sort of my vision early on, is to create and then co-create with my partner / husband.
Yes.
Who is a physician.
Michael Finkelstein.
Dr. Michael Finkelstein,
yes, Dr. Michael Finkelstein.
Okay.
He has been featured in the Heal documentaries by Dr. Kelly Turner for Radical Remission, so you can find out more about him, and I'll actually include some information about Dr. Michael also.
Yes, so the two of us had this vision together, and it's always beautiful to partner with others. We are interactive human beings. We don't do well in isolation.
Absolutely.
Even though we're isolated, we're all being sort of called to isolate. However, right now with springtime, to get out and connect,
yes,
and we can sit and have a cup of tea or take a walk. So some of these physical support systems are so important to the slow medicine approach to the philosophy of mind, body, spirit, and all of this matters. Traditional therapy is a beautiful thing for some people.
I want to say traditional therapy has not worked for me.
Yeah.
I have been to numerous therapists over the year. I remember as a child, my parents would actually take me to meet different therapists because I would act out. I had a lot of anger issues as a child or as a teenager. I was very aggressive. I got into a lot of fights physically with people in my early, late late teen years. I was aggressive. There was a lot of anger I didn't know how to harness.
Yes.
And it came out. And, you know, sometimes I still have to work on that. And that's something that I haven't been very open about because I haven't been able, it's kind of, shameful. I almost felt shameful about the anger that I felt inside. So I haven't been very open in expressing that anger and working through that. So I have been to traditional therapists or talk therapy, and I never got to the root. I never got to the bottom of where this stuff comes from until we started working together. And I really, we come out of our conversations and our sessions. First, I appreciate you so much because you never cut me off. Like, if it's over an hour, it's over an hour. Like, you're always, if I'm in it and we're in the thick of it, we work all the way through it. And I walk out sometimes of our sessions and I go home and I process our sessions and I journal about them. And then I get these beautiful like realizations. And then I call you to be like, I had a breakthrough. I worked through something. I cried so hard. I cried so deeply. Like, I released so much because of our session. And that is really beautiful. And traditional therapy is not what you do.
That's right. So,
Yes.
so traditional therapy and Western medicine, there's a time and place for
Everything.
this, right?
Yep.
For everything. However, the work from a psycho-spiritual approach is the physical world and then the deeper soul spirit of a human being. So when you were little and you weren't able to be expressive and be able to feel your emotions and allow them to guide you,
Right.
most of us, and we're not picking on your family.
No.
In general,
This is a general census
For-
because all of us go through it.
yes.
Yes.
So for many, we are actually told, don't cry. There's nothing to cry about.
Right.
And now we know through all the wisdom of the studying that we know psychologically, physically, how that manifests
Yeah.
in ourselves.
For men too.
Absolutely.
Women are allowed to cry a little bit more often than men, but not where we live, no. Like where we are in New York, in Connecticut, and like Westchester, it is hustle, hustle, hustle. There's no time for emotion.
Right.
So I think that that's very interesting. And with men too, like as boys, they were told they had to be strong and not to be seen crying, and like to suppress a child's natural reaction to something is not okay.
Yes.
It's just not, because it manifests as we're older into other problems and other issues.
Yes. It's how we communicate when we're very young. It's how we express ourselves.
As babies.
As babies, right? And so if we were never allowed that container to process those feelings, we grow up and we're actually staying very young. We're in a very young state because it feels safer to contain. And then what is really important is we all adopt a compensated self.
Right.
And Elise is saying, when I was in my home, there was a lot of restriction, it was strict, and she, I imagine, adopted ways to survive this. However, we're not thriving, and the work here, the slow medicine approach, is to get to the root core and to work through, allow those feelings to guide you so we can move through, and then we can be guided to what we need. And if we don't feel our emotions, we don't necessarily make good choices. So maybe when you were younger, you were looking for to be seen and acknowledged.
Even now, like even, I basically created a whole career on being seen and acknowledged, doing public relations and boosting other people's small businesses and making people around me be seen and acknowledged in the media and social media.
And the very thing that you
That's
need.
the very thing that I needed growing up, is to be seen and acknowledged. Right now in my life, truthfully, as I'm healing, yes, I want credit. I have done such a magnificent job, but I don't need, what I've gotten to the point is where we are in our work together is I've gotten to the point where I am actually able to be like, I don't need somebody else to tell me great job. I pat myself on the back because every day I wake up and do so much. I wake up at 6:30, I meditate, I walk the dogs, I read, I take time for myself, I juice, I detox, I do my yoga. Like, these are commitments I've made to myself, and I have to give myself a pat on the back for just getting up every morning and deciding that I am going to live instead of be the victim of cancer.
Absolutely.
Or the victim of the anger that might still reside inside, or the victim of loneliness because I don't have a partner, or the victim of whatever it may be that maybe you're going through. You know, we are able, when we see clear and we talk these things out and we have support, we are able to get past those moments faster and be more productive
And
in our
thrive.
lives. Yes.
Thrive. So beautifully
And that's why
said.
I say hashtag cancer thriver
I love
instead of survivor, because every day is a new day and I have to reacclimate. I get triggered all the time. I have a phone call that the conversation doesn't go the way I want it, I get triggered, right?
Absolutely.
I've called you during those moments and
Yes.
been like, we need to talk.
Yes, and we all have triggers, and this might lead us to the inner child work, and
This
what
is
Elisa
deep.
does
Yes.
so beautifully. She just really described the inner child work, where she's actually learning how to nurture herself and know that she needs to be recognized, and know when you need to say good job to yourself, and also be able to take in nourishment from inspirational people, which is, we all want to be around, as I had mine, because I had my own personal healing journey. People get into the work, as Elisa said so beautifully. I got into my curiosity of human nature was through my own pain. And through our pain, there's such a jewel. We
Yeah.
talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
There's, what's a jewel under here?
Yeah.
And that gives your body, your mind, your spirit hope that there is something magical and beautiful happening when we're actually able to look at the trigger with loving eyes and have some tools. And I hope I provide some
My
tools
gosh,
too, which most
so
therapists, you know, they listen, they diagnose. I like to share some of the tools with everybody, how and feel that everyone has the birthright, you know, to be able to be mothered and nurtured.
Mothered and nurtured.
Yes, my tagline is nurturing you into health, because I know that was my journey. I had to nurture myself first. Now I can have the
Support
and then
help.
you can give it out when you're full,
Yes.
right?
So tell me the kind of people, like, you take care of me, of course, and then you deal with couples, you
Yes.
deal with all different. And right now, I want to talk too about
Yes, I've got
your
a new-
personal journey of coming over an illness holistically, also.
Yes.
So we have very parallel situations. We met kind of at the right time, which was beautiful.
Right.
God has a plan.
Yes. Oh, so
God has a plan.
it is beautiful, and that spiritual. Everybody has their own, whether it's a higher power, divine. Just realizing when you open yourself up and you give yourself that love, and you dreamed up this whole environment, which is so beautiful. My clients say, "Oh, you know, you thank you," and I was like, "You dreamed this up. This is a manifestation of what you know is to be true inside." That is like just beautiful and gorgeous.
I just had another epiphany moment, because right now, obviously I do my work with you, and as parts of my childhood that I really, really love and remember so lovingly and deeply, where I did get the nourishment that I needed in my life, was from my grandfather, my no-no, Joseph Bomarito.
Right.
And he had a green thumb. He was always in the garden, and I was his right hand, and he was always picking bushels of vegetables and growing and nurturing and talking and eating cucumbers right out of the yard, and with his salt shaker, and giving me the cucumber, and picking the cherries from his cherry tree. In Canada, he had a pear tree, an apple tree, and a cherry tree.
Yes.
In Canada, guys. He had the green thumb. And those are the most beautiful parts of my childhood. And then right now, in the depth of my healing, and when I'm coming out of all these different facets of my healing, like I have you, which I'm in a garden, and I've manifested this space where I love to be outside and I love to be around fruits and vegetables and flowers and nature. And then my newest client, who is Harbor Harvest, which is literally the all farm to store and all local farms. And it's kind of funny how life kind of brought me full circle. To the thing that I cherished the most as a child is exactly what I'm focusing on as an adult.
And that would bring us into the question you asked about what type of people I see, what other types of work that I do, which is couples work, which is really relational. So it could be mom and dad I work, or sometimes dad and daughters have some challenges.
Mm-hmm. I have lots of challenges, dad and daughter.
So this is called your imago. So what Elisa is describing is her imago, and this part of the brain, little part that is the amygdala, that has a memory of sensory, of direct experiences which you had with your no-no. No.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
No.
I love it. So that memory is something that is so beautiful, because those are positive things that we all will go out and we will attract those. Now, there's something to this other side with imago, is where things where they were negative or challenges within the family system, we also may attract that. Now, the beauty is that once we do that, we have an opportunity to do the deeper work of communication with another human being.
Yes, and when we first started working together, I had just been divorced.
Yeah.
So divorced, diagnosed with cancer, and I've had dysfunctional relationships my whole life, like searching for this man that is going to love me deeply that I still have not found yet. And I feel like that comes because that father-daughter love that I was looking for as a child, I was a little bit missing for myself. And it doesn't mean that my parents or my father doesn't love me, because they do. They love me in their own way. But the way that I needed was just not there. And still, in my patterns as an adult, the love that I need in my relationships is still not there. So that is still work that we're working on.
It's a practice.
Yes.
She's practicing.
I am practicing.
So what's so beautiful with doing individual work, which I work with individuals like yourself, couples, families, and what's so beautiful is because when you work on yourself, which I really highly recommend that everyone learn the practice of learning how to love yourself. And as Elisa is growing and she is going to dream up, we hear her saying, I'm dreaming up this love. When she's ready and to receive that, you will dream that up. I'm absolutely sure of it. It's so possible. We just need consciousness and willingness to do any of this, transcendental work where we're moving from one place to the other.
Right.
So it's really very beautiful to watch.
So
you deserve it.
Thank you. Tell me a little bit more about this new path that you're on. You're still added. We're adding a little bit of extra to what you already provide. Tell us, because I'm on this cancer journey of healing, and regardless of whether I have cancer or don't have cancer or whatever, I'm living my life like I constantly do, for the reason that I never want to let down my guard. And it's so important that I constantly feel how I feel now, which is a 10 and not an 8 or a 7 or a 6. I want to feel a 10 all the time. I need to feel amazing, and I wake up every day feeling amazing. So that is the most important thing for me. But you have had this journey too of illness. So let's talk about that, because a lot of people here that are listening ask these questions.
Absolutely. So I'm sure most of you have heard of Lyme disease.
Lyme disease.
And we are in the Lyme Center in the East Coast, between Connecticut, the whole East Coast now.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's a natural, biological system that is happening. And I was diagnosed with chronic Lyme disease. I have horses to the right
You
here,
can't even
which
see
you
them.
can't
There's
see.
horses over here.
Yes.
I'm going to take pictures of the horses and add them to this blog because
We're
they're
gonna-
out here grazing, rolling. They're literally like, they flop on the ground and roll and then get back up.
Right. So
We're having a
just
whole show over here.
the beauty of the horses. So the biological, there are threats in nature as well. Even though we're sitting here and saying everything is so beautiful,
No.
we know we have poison ivy and there are threatening things, but it's an ecosystem that has a very complex process to it all. My husband does really
he'll
well.
delve back
He'll
into
delve
that,
back
but
into the
this is
science
your
of it.
exact
Yes.
experience.
So I wasn't feeling well for a long time, and I sort of blew it off to, it's just, I'm close to 60 years old, and I'm going
close
through.
to 60 years
I'm
old.
going to be soon.
How gorgeous.
Well,
is
thank you.
Robin.
However, fit and always had 150 miles an hour, moving so fast in life.
Mhm.
I just didn't want to accept that there was really anything wrong because
Correct.
I'm very similar to Elisa. We eat organic food here, yoga. However, I got bit by a tick and did not know that I was infected with a bacteria, and which comes along with many viruses as well. And so I finally found someone who tested me and said, you have Lyme disease.
Right.
It was really profound. Heart palpitations. I couldn't even walk.
Stress.
I couldn't walk out to this garden without feeling as though my energy was just zapped. So through my direct experience in healing, and it's actually almost 3 years, and I can say I feel better than ever.
Yeah.
However, what has changed, there was a jewel in that, in the disease, was that I felt that this disease was giving me an opportunity to slow down. And so all diseases and viruses, they thrive off of stress. And, even if your life looks really good and you're very productive, I was moving faster than I needed to.
Agreed.
I
Me
needed
too
to
when I
slow
was
down.
diagnosed. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So much about this is very similar
Yeah.
to the whole journey that you're on. So now I want to share and give hope and support for my clients that have been down all different roads through Western medicine. And of course, I treated it completely natural. There are herbs on this property here. One is Japanese knotweed, which is right behind the hoop house, which is so beautifully designed, right out in nature next to the ticks, know? The threat, it's in the healing, like poison ivy, the jewelweed sits right next to it. How amazing is that, right?
Yes.
And then so we have the challenges and then we have the positive, and we need to incorporate them together. So my new added excitement is to be available for people that have experienced chronic Lyme disease, and to help them through it and to give them support. And through my husband, who actually does a diagnostic tool through a process to really listen to your body, to let it mirror what you need for your healing.
Our intuition, when we listen, knows exactly what we need to do. And there's a lot of noise and a lot of different people telling us what we should do. And I find and have found during my whole journey, my intuition has been louder than ever. And it really does speak very clearly to me to tell me what I need to be doing. And sometimes I second guess myself because that's natural. Because
well, let's pause for a moment. We'll do a little therapy for a moment.
All right.
Where do you think that comes from? Where you're listening and you have this strong intuition.
I have doubt because as a child I had been told I was wrong or I was a certain way, and that isn't the way to do things. And I think that it comes from there.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, it
that
totally
you wouldn't
makes sense.
listen to that all the time.
Yeah.
However, through your healing now, you are so stepping into individuation.
No one can tell me anything.
She is like, I am going to listen, and that's so beautiful. Not that you can't get that, information from outside, and then you're able to listen to see how that is resonating within you.
But how great that Dr. Michael, your husband, is able to facilitate that intuition through the body to come out clearly from a third party, to be able to acknowledge that, because sometimes we can't hear it for ourselves.
Absolutely.
So it's really great that there are physicians out there that are able to find that intuition through the body's needs, because our body is so smart and so intuitive. We're a computer, guys. Like, our body is a computer.
Brilliant.
It is so smart, and we do not give our bodies enough credit at all. We do not. I don't knock conventional medicine or anybody who does it.
If you're having a heart attack, you do want to go to the hospital.
Yeah, like if you're having a baby and something's going on, like, yes. But
there is choice. We have power of choice.
We do, and sometimes it's right, and sometimes it's not right for everybody. And
it's an integrative approach. That's a holistic looking at the whole picture. Is your journey.
But I've really believed, and my intuition has told me my body is capable, as long as I nourish it and give it the right things and work on my mind and work on my heart. My body is capable, once everything is aligned, to just get back into harmony and balance. And that's what I've been doing. And that's what I've been trying to do on my road.
You are doing.
On my conscious healing path.
She is doing it, yes. And that's her jewel, that through her quote-unquote dis-ease, that there is such a jewel underneath, and the power of having the wisdom and the willingness to be open to really just doing the work. And the work, for some people, it may feel scary, like, oh, I don't want to go back and, stir up things. However, it's important to connect dots, because there's always connecting dots to wherever there is a block in today.
I hear a lot of people say to me, I don't want to live in the past.
Right.
I don't want to talk about what happened back then. And we have to. We really have to, or we're not going to get to the root of why we react or act the way that we do if we don't figure out what the past, what happened in the past that creates these triggers. And if we keep shoving those past traumas down because we don't want to deal with them, then that's when it manifests. And that's what I believe happened to me.
Yes.
Or for me. It happened for me. Cancer totally happened for me. Cancer's been my friend.
Yes. Well, you're befriending it now. Cancer actually means growth. And how about that? You are absolutely growing. And you're doing your inner child work, you're doing your individuation work, you're really listening, and you're taking what served you, the beautiful relationship with her no, and she's embracing that, and then we will also look at the things that were challenging for you to make change in your life.
And how to not repeat those things next time.
Yes, because we will do what's familiar, it's just our nature. And so we want to do what I ask my clients all the time, is that familiar, or does that feel comfortable, or, what's the word we use? Familiar, or does that feel, what's the word I use?
You say familiar all the time.
Is that familiar, or is that comfortable? And a lot of people will say it's familiar, because it's not comfortable.
It's uncomfortable.
It's actually uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So we want to look at the uncomfortable with loving support, and somebody who can just hold that for you and really listen, mirror you, validate you, and empathize for you. And that's how we do that inner healing work, because we need it.
And as soon as we are in a place where we are able to give that validation to ourselves, then the outside validation does really come. Like, I'm getting more love from
your little baby.
Oh my gosh, she's so dirty, digging everything. I'm getting more love from places I didn't even think I could get love from, or people I don't even really know that well, like outside people, like clients, friends. I'm getting a lot of love and support. My healers, thank goodness, have become part of my family now. We really have become so close.
We do need a tribe for healing. It's
Yes.
it's not one person. It really creates, I know
Yeah.
when you're drumming circle, you do that. It's like
It's
a tribe in there.
magnificent.
So
It really is.
profound, the support and that love and the energy.
Yes.
So it's really beautiful.
So we hope that you will find some healing and be able to dive into the things that might hold you back, or recognize the things that might trigger you, some things that maybe happened in your childhood. And if you need to find Robin, because you do virtual too, right?
Right now with COVID, mostly virtual. However, now it's beautiful. We can
Distance outside, yeah.
to make it comfortable. Yes, you can reach out to slowmedicine.org, info@slowmedicine.org, and you can also check out our website
At slowmedicine.
and at slowmedicine.org, and you could always find me through
Yeah, I'll have
Lisa.
all the links
She'll
in the
do it
blog post, and we'll have all the information there. So Robin, thank you so
You're
much.
we need to
Cheers
change to
again.
your continued health
Thank
and your
you.
beauty.
You too.
And how she's sharing it so with so many of us. I think it's just so beautiful. Thank you for sharing
I
this.
appreciate you so much.
Namaste, my dear.
Namaste. What does namaste mean? The
Peace.
light in me
The light in me.
honors the light in you.
That is gorgeous.
Back to you. Thank you.
Beautiful.